Now available for pre-order on Kindle. Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Pre-order your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace on Kindle today. A New Jersey woman was found dead in Tennessee last Saturday after she and her 2-year-old son were kidnapped by the child's father. Now, in this incident, 27-year-old Tyler Rios kidnapped his 24-year-old estranged wife, Yasmin Uar, and their 2-year-old son. And in this incident, it is alleged that your 27-year-old Tyler Rios murdered 24-year-old Yasmin Uar and kidnapped the baby boy and took him to Tennessee. Now, police are looking at this as an isolated incident of domestic violence, but when I take a critical examination of this incident, it fits right in line with the pattern and profile I talk about regarding beta males in my book, The Man Crisis. And from looking critically at Tyler Rios' alleged actions, he clearly is one of those beta males like I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis, and he fits the pattern and profile of a beta male to a T. Now, when it comes down to many of these beta males, when they get involved in relationships, many of these men are extremely insecure. And because these men are extremely insecure, they oftentimes wind up becoming very controlling and very abusive. And that's what it looks like happened here with Yasmin Uar as she got involved with Tyler Rios, because according to reports, your Yasmin Uar had been involved in multiple domestic violence situations with her husband, and this man had been abusing them for some time. And that is something that happens whenever a woman gets involved with a beta male. The beta male's insecurities will get the better of him, and because he is extremely insecure, what he does is he imagines that this woman is cheating on him. He imagines that this woman is not faithful to him, and because he is out here imagining these types of scenarios, what happens is he does not trust his wife or his girlfriend, and because he doesn't trust his girlfriend or his wife, he starts to try to abuse her in an effort to try to control her behavior. But the person who is out of control is the beta male, and the beta male, because he is completely out of control, he winds up destroying a relationship that he's having with the woman because he doesn't have the discipline or self-control over himself. And because he doesn't have that self-control, this is why he just simmers and boils in anger, because in many cases he does not believe he is worthy of a relationship. Now, these guys, they have a hard time getting women to get involved with, and once they get involved with a woman, they just get so insecure that what they do is they start to get scared. Oh, I'm going to lose this woman to other men. So they start imagining that this woman is out here having affairs when she's going to just go see her family, or she's just going to work. He's always imagining the worst case scenario, and that's why this guy, who is basically a power simp, turns into a psycho simp. Now, these psycho simp beta males, they are extremely dangerous because many of these men, because they have such obsessions with the woman that they're involved with, will go out here and participate in some of the most depraved and extremely violent behaviors in the spectrum of violent behaviors. And this man, your Tyler Rios, as alleged, participated in some of the most extreme in the spectrum of violent behaviors after his wife issued a restraining order against him. Now, this guy, after getting a restraining order issued against him, went out here and exploded in the beta male rage, like I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And then he went and to stalk his girlfriend, and then went to kidnap his girlfriend, who was making plans to move away from this man, and he wanted to go and go after her before she could get away from him completely. So what he wanted to do was go out here and get one last act of revenge in order to let her know that you will never get away from me. Because when it comes down to the beta male, he wants to be the one in control. He wants to be the one who is in charge of the woman, and he wants the woman to know that she will never go anywhere without him. So he will go out here once you issue a restraining order. That's when he explodes in this rage that he's been simmering and boiling in for an extended period of time. And that's when he will go out here and participate in this extreme act of violence. Now, any other critical thinking man, once a woman tells him that she no longer wants to be involved, he is going to put a period at the end of the relationship, and he is going to call it a day. Now, when a woman says, "Oh, I don't want anything to do with you, anymore," what that man is going to do, because he values the intangibles of his health, safety, and freedom, he is going to put a period at the end of the relationship, and then he is going, if he has children, like in this case, he is going to let the courts deal with the child support, and he's going to let that woman have a nice life. Unfortunately, in this case, when you're dealing with a beta male, he cannot let anything end, because in many cases, your beta males are terrible enders. And many of these men, they don't know how to put a period at the end of things and let things go, and they escalate things into these horrifying and terrifying situations. And that's what happened in the case here with this Tyler Rios, as alleged. He went out here and escalated things after he got the restraining order, exploded in this rage, and then wanted to go and send a message to the mother of his child that her life was in his hands. So he went out here, found her, kidnapped her and his 2-year-old son, and then drove them to Tennessee, murdered this woman, and then went on to go with the grandmother, took the boy to the grandmother. And again, it just shows you how sick and depraved these beta males are, that he didn't just go out here and let things go. No, he went on a rampage where he murdered the mother of his child and then acted like nothing happened and took his son to his grandmother, acting like, oh, he did nothing wrong. And again, this is what happens, what beta males do, because that's why he took her to a wooded area off of I-40 to murder her, because he wanted to go out here and hide the evidence of the murder he had committed, and then wanted to go back to the smooth world with no conflicts, no problems and obstacles, where he took the child back to the mother, to the grandmother. And again, this just shows you how deeply depraved this individual was. And this is an individual who is going to be, because he wasn't thinking critically, he's going to prison for the rest of his life for murdering his wife. And once they get him into prison for participating in this murder, he is going to go from being an abuser to being abused by all of those guys in prison, like Bubba and Tiny. And once they get a hold of him and turn that tight end into a wide receiver, they're going to be trading him for your Little Debbie snack cakes, your ramen noodles, your Fritos chips, and cups of coffee. And that's all because this beta male could not navigate through his emotions, work through his insecurities, and understand that yes, you are married, yes, you have a girlfriend, and yes, she is in a relationship with you, and you have to trust that woman when you are in a relationship with her. And if you cannot trust anybody in a relationship, then maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship. Because one of the big problems with many of these beta males out here is that many of these beta males have a hard time with trust, and they have a hard time with trust because they grew up in these single mother households or these households with divorce, and because their mothers and fathers did not trust, these men cannot go out here and trust anyone out here, and that's why their relationships always fall apart, because these guys will sit here and imagine a woman cheating on them. They will imagine a woman going out here and looking and lusting after men, but in many cases, the women that they're with are not doing anything at all. It's all in the beta male's imagination, and it's all in the beta male's imagination because the beta male is the one who believes that he doesn't deserve a relationship. He is the one who believes that he cannot be loved. He is the one who believes that nobody loves him. And the problem is that he is the one who is so insecure in himself that he cannot see that he is his own worst enemy, and he is the one who destroys his relationships because he is the one who erects emotional walls, and because he erects emotional walls, people cannot connect with him, people can't get close with him, and he pushes people out of his life. And in this case, he wound up destroying his own family because he didn't understand that he already had everything going for him. But because this man in crisis, this beta male, could not appreciate the family that he had, he wound up destroying the life of not only his wife by murdering her, allegedly, but also wound up taking and destroying the life of his son, because his son doesn't have his mother, and he won't have his father because his father will be going to prison for the rest of his life, where they will be turning that tight end into a wide receiver, and then they will be trading that man for your Little Debbie snack cakes, your cups of coffee, your Fritos chips, your ramen noodles. That's what's the final fate of this man, because this man could not appreciate the freedom to enjoy the family he had built. Now, if you want to learn more about why beta males participate in these kinds of destructive behaviors and the spectrum of violent behaviors where they go out here and stalk and harass and murder their girlfriends and ex-wives and wives, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me make more men's issues videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, ISIS, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.